What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome if it's your first time here, and welcome to a nice Saturday afternoon here in Tennessee. Guys, you think it's bad now, you just wait. It's going to get much worse. In fact, 6 months to a year from now, this country is going to be completely changed to the point that it's going to be unrecognizable to most of us, mainly because of the actions of the federal government, and also the fact that the supply chain is collapsing, and the things that you need, to survive are going to be extremely difficult or impossible to find. And if you do find those to purchase, the price is going to be increased exponentially from what they were at this time 6 months to a year from now. And guys, there's a multitude of reasons that the supply chain is collapsing. It's been going on for a while now, and we're seeing the ramifications of decisions that was made over a year ago, nearly 2 years ago, and they're still being made, unfortunately. Misguided decisions about the virus and El Jabbo. We had, one person test positive and the factory would shut down. One person test positive and the shipping, receiving, everything would close down. If anyone in any business tested positive, then the reaction was to shut that business down. And guys, when you shut down the economy like that, we also had all the lockdowns. And then even after the lockdowns were lifted in most areas, those that had the lockdowns, they would have anyone tested positive at a company, at a factory, processing plants, shipping, receiving, and that business was shut down for 10 days or even more, depending on how many people tested positive and when they tested positive, and if the testing positive kept on happening at that same facility, they would keep it shut down. And that definitely caused production to completely stop. And you cannot do that in a country. You cannot completely shut down the production like they have without severe repercussions. And we also had people being incentivized to stay home. They were making more on unemployment benefits than they were working at their job. So, if you're making more unemployment than you would be working, then who in their right mind is going to get up every morning and go to work? Well, you can draw, $600 a week more than you're making at your job or thereabouts. And most people aren't going to get up every morning and go to work to make less money when they can make more money staying at home, especially when you have the media constantly talking about, this deadly virus is going to kill everyone, and people got afraid to go to work. So common sense would dictate that they're going to stay home and do nothing and draw that extra unemployment every week. And then, guys, we've had lots of severe weather, especially out west, with all the droughts and the wildfires causing disruptions in the production and growing and harvesting and producing food. It's just a huge domino effect. And right now in China, they're having blackouts. They're rationing electricity, and they're shutting down production in China. And the United States, we don't produce in the United States nowhere near what we should be producing here with the resources that we have. The United States prefers to buy their products from China, it seems. And those products from China, the manufacturing from China is slowing down because they're having, like I said, blackouts and things there right now, and they're cutting power to certain provinces. it's also going to have a domino effect here in the U.S. And guys, we've also seen massive currency printing here in the U.S. And this isn't just in the U.S., it's been pretty much the world with all these shutdowns, lockdowns, and everything going on. We've also, like I said, there's been massive amounts of money printing, throwing that currency into the economy. When you have massive amounts of money printing and the national debt keeps being lifted so they can print more money and throw that money, that currency, into the system, then it causes inflation because you have more currency in the system. You have the old currency in the system that was already here, and they invent more currency, and that devalues what's already here. So guys, things have definitely changed over the last couple of years and changed dramatically. However, like I said at the start of this video, within 6 months to a year from now, this country's not going to be recognizable. It's going to be completely altered. It's going to be completely changed. And the supply chain, distribution, shipping, receiving, production, everything is going to be pretty much non-existent, in my opinion. We see it now happening. We see lots of things on the shelves that are not there anymore. We see lots of empty shelves with things that are not there anymore. And it seems like every month it gets worse. Now you'll have empty shelves of this item one week. You might go back the next week and there's a few on the shelf, but the next shelf of something else would be empty. It's going to continue to get worse. The price of what you can find is going to continue to go up. It's going to continue to increase. So guys, it's extremely important to write down, make a list of everything your family uses, everything your family eats in a week, everything your family uses in a week, personal hygiene items and things like that. And try to put that back. Try to buy that now and put back as much as you can, because it's going to get more difficult to find. I don't think you can put back enough to last as long as this crisis is going to last, because I think this is going to be decades. It's going to be extremely difficult to survive, and it's going to continue to get worse and worse. And I talked about a few minutes ago about the labor shortage was causing a lot of this to happen, these shortages and things to happen, these consumer product shortages to manifest themselves. We also, I forgot to mention the fact that the Biden administration is mandating the jab for most federal workers, for the military, and for companies with over 100 employees. Some states are fighting back, some employers are fighting back. However, we see a lot of people that's in those jobs who are resigning or who are waiting to get fired because they refuse to take that. And that's going to cause even more shortages, more supply issues, more shipping issues, more receiving issues. We have right now so many cargo ships out off the coast of California, and they can't be brought in because there's no one there to unload those ships. There's not enough people there to keep those ships flowing, to keep that workflow moving, to keep those ships being unloaded, more ships coming in, more unloading. So they're having to wait off the coast. And we're going to see more and more of that as time goes on. Like I said, China is having trouble producing things right now because they're experiencing power shortages. And the government there is cutting power after you've got a limited usage of power. And once you cross that usage threshold, then the Chinese government is cutting power to that province. And when that happens, production gets cut back, because to produce those goods they produce to ship over here and abroad, it takes power. And when they're shutting, the power is limited, then production is also limited. It's going to have a domino effect to us here in the U.S. So guys, you need to prepare as best you can. Like I said, no one's going to be prepared enough for what's coming, because this is going to be decades. It's going to be a decade or even longer disaster is going to play out. It's a complete changing of the United States as the way we know it, and the majority of it is planned and it's been orchestrated from a long time ago. They have it planned out, they have it orchestrated. It's a controlled demolition of the American empire, and actually of most of the Western world, because they want to bring in, this new form of socialist type government. That's the plan. To do that, they have to collapse the old system. They have to make everyone as miserable as they possibly can. That way the people who are still alive and survive through it will be begging for anything to come make life better. And when they step in and offer this new world, one world government type system, this Agenda 21, 2030 type system, people will say, okay, what have we got to lose? We're starving now, we're in misery now, crime has skyrocketed, thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people have died, even in my local community. So what have we got to lose? Let's do this. People will be demanding that they come in and take control and to implement this new form of government, which is what they want. And this new form of government is designed to give them full and maximum control at the top. Full maximum control of everything from the top down. So guys, stock up, prepare, get ready, get armed, buy ammunition, spare magazines, firearms, stock up on food, hygiene items, everything you normally use. Figure out what you use, what your family needs, and buy that right now in bulk. Also, try to prepare to be as self-sufficient as you possibly can where you are. If you live in a urban apartment, you can't be self-sufficient there. You can't provide for your own needs in a situation like that. So get out, move to a better location, move to a rural location, preferably a farming community. But get out of the main cities and the urban areas and move to the suburbs at least. That's not ideal, but it beats being in, say, New York City or something like that, or San Francisco or something. Move out of those places. Get as self-reliant as you possibly can on your own property. Put in raised garden beds, dig up your yard, whatever. Get some chickens, get some rabbits, learn how to hunt, learn how to trap, learn how to identify edible plants. Anything you can do to become more self-reliant is definitely a huge plus. Also, get in the best physical condition that you can for you. Everyone is different. Everyone has different physical abilities, but you can get in better condition for you. If you can walk a half a mile now, maybe you can increase that to walk 3/4 of a mile or a mile or even more. Try to increase. I can't tell you to go out and try to be a triathlete because I'm not that either. I do walk just about every day and work here and try to keep myself in the best shape I possibly can. And that's what you should be doing, trying to improve your health. If at all possible, you can get off of prescription medications. Of course, do that with your doctor's approval. Disclaimer. Get off those medications if you possibly can and get on natural substances to help or completely change your diet, physical activity, and completely be able to drop those medications. Because the medications may be impossible to get in the future. Anyways, guys, be sure to check out my website at creekmore.com. There's nearly 400 full-length articles on that website covering everything you need to know to prep and survive. If you need even more in-depth information, then check out my book on Amazon.com or at Barnes & Noble, The Prepper's Guide to Surviving the End of the World We Know It, Gear, Skills, and Related Know-How. Thanks, guys, for watching. I'm Creekmore, I'm out of here, and I'll see you all in the next video, hopefully.